Hey there, welcome back to my nursery here in Cedro Woolley. All right, James chapter 3. Grab your Bible and turn open, read it, mark it up, okay, so that you remember things. My James looks like this. Do you see all those notes? When I see a verse and I hear a message or I'm reading along, I mark it up. If it's something you need to remember, mark up your Bible. Get a good pen that doesn't hurt your Bible and mark in it, write in it, so that you'll, when you're flipping through it again, you'll go, oh, I remember. We talked about that in Bible class. All right, so James chapter 3, verse 9, it says, we're talking about the tongue. And James had said, nobody can tame it. So what do we do about that? He says, therewith bless we God. With our tongue, we can bless God, even the Father. And therewith curse we men. That's not good. Which are made after the same similitude of God. James is saying, we are all made in the same image of God. And here we are, blessing the Lord one day with our mouth, and the next day we're using it to hurt somebody else. We may be using the Lord's name in vain. We may be cursing, which would be horrible. And that's what he says happens. In verse 10, it says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings. Out of the same mouth comes blessings and cursings. My brethren. So he's talking to Christians here. He says, my brethren, these things ought not to be so. They shouldn't be like that. We should not be blessing one minute and cursing the next minute. We should always have our tongue under control. But he said that we can't tame it, didn't he? Let's keep reading. He says he's going to give us an illustration of this. He says, doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter water? No. Papa's looking in at me. No, the fountain doesn't give two different types of water. Remember the children of Israel? They were in the wilderness and they were thirsty and they were begging Moses for water, and they found water and it was bitter water and they didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so what did Moses do? He hit the rock and out of it came fresh water. So James is saying, doth a fountain send forth the same place sweet water and bitter? No, it only can have one at a time. Let's see. He says, can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Now, you may not have seen a fig tree, though we probably passed by quite a few of them down when we were in Mexico. In Roatan, they had fig trees. But he says, can a fig tree bear olive berries? No. Olive trees have olives on them. Fig trees have figs on them. Either a vine, like a grapevine, can it bear figs? No. We bear, the grapevine bears grapes, and the fig tree bears figs, and an olive tree bears olives. Do you see what he's trying to say? Our mouth can't have two things in it at the same time. We can't be saying something great about God and then a minute later be yelling at our brother and sister. It shouldn't ought to be that way. He says we need to take care of that. Let's see. Verse 13. It says, so, oh no, we haven't finished that one. Verse 12. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh water? So he's given us several illustrations. He says a fountain can't bring forth sweet water, bitter water, salt water, or fresh water. It has to be one or the other. Can't be a mixture. If there's any salt in it, it's salt water, okay? And a fig tree and a berry tree and an olive tree, they all bear the same fruit. They don't bear two different types. Now let's see, it says, who is a wise man and endued with knowledge, or filled with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. So where do we get the strength to control our tongue from God giving us wisdom. And do you remember what James said earlier? If any of you lack wisdom, if you don't have enough of it, what should we do? We should ask God for it. So we can't control it ourselves, but with God we can. He says, so let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. So we're going to talk about this wisdom the next time we get together. But you might want to remember one or two of those illustrations about our tongue. James has given us a lot of really good ones, hasn't he? I hope you're having a great day. And remember, I love you. Bye-bye.